Here's a question for you. What do you think is more important to the American people? Keeping the White House open to tours or Elvis cruises? Now, we know what a majority of the United States Senate thinks, and Senator Tom Coburn sure does not agree with that majority. He joins us. Nice to see you, Senator.
Hey, how are you?
Very well. Well, apparently, you have an amendment. Explain what the amendment is, but it was voted down. So tell me first what the amendment was, and I'm going to ask you some questions about it.
Well, what we did was eliminate a bunch of wasteful spending and transfer that money to the National Park Service so that we could open up all our major parks on time this spring, and also give the Park Service money so that we can open up the White House. The excuse has been is that the White House can't be opened up because Secret Service have been furloughed, but if you look at the numbers, they haven't been furloughed. So it really has as much to do with the National Park Service as it does to do with Secret Service. And and they didn't agree with that. They thought it was a political vote. Actually, I started this because what you saw, and if you read the reports, the people of Wyoming have raised money on their own to plow the roads for Yellowstone Park, both out of Cody, Wyoming and Jackson Hole. So they're doing on their own what is necessary to open the park. But we're continuing to spend money on stupid things that could be transferred so that American people wouldn't have to spend their own dollars to see their own park.
All right. In looking at the things that you were attempting to take the money from to go to the White House tours, one of them is an Elvis music boat, which $308,000. That's about 3 weeks of tours. There's another one, Salem Witch Hunt, Examine the Evidence. That's about $628,000. So that's more than 6 weeks of tours. And the list goes on and on. I'm curious, did any Democrat vote for this?
Yeah, a couple did. A couple did, but only those that are up for re-election in the next election cycle.
Any Republicans vote against this?
Not that I know of. The important thing is when we are borrowing over $1 trillion a year and we're wasting money on those kind of silly things, they're certainly not a priority for the average working family that we would spend that kind of money on grants to do those kind of stupid things. We don't even have the courage in the U.S. Senate to eliminate those things and do something better.
Well, even in the best of times, Wine Tasting Express, which was $640,000, I'm not sure exactly why the American people, really don't, maybe the American people think that that's a good idea to spend money. I don't know. But,
I don't think so. I don't think there may be some wine sellers that think so, but it goes back to limited government. You know, we're so out of control, we're spending money on things like that, and at the same time borrowing money against our children. That's why we're successful on the one amendment on political science. We're spending money for people to look how often we change our websites. To do a study for that. It's just, everything that we're doing is totally out of control because nobody's watching the American taxpayer's dollar.
Is something fundamental about it, though, is that it's not that they disagree with you, but that they just don't want you to be successful on this motion or this amendment?
No, it's because all these programs have constituencies, and even though they may not agree with that money being spent, they want the money spent because somebody's going to call up and say, why didn't I get my grant? Or why didn't we get to do this conference? Or why didn't we get to travel here? In other words, we're cowards when it comes to saying no, which is what every family has to say when they have a limited budget. They can't do the fun things, the lower priority things. And all I'm saying is, let's get rid of some low priority things, probably should never be a role of the federal government in the first place, and let's do some things that the spring break guys and the people coming to Washington ought to not have to sacrifice over.
Senator, thank you. And I'll just leave with this last one. The day-long hammer in for $664,000. That's another 6 and 7 weeks of tours. But anyway, thank you, sir.
You bet. You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye. Coming up, break.